Kuya, 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 when them see me with the fire. Kuya, 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 when me kill a vampire. Kuya, 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 when me burn the obia waka. Them say, kuya, kuya, kuya. So Don Charles called into TalkSport the other day to dispel the notion that he'd split from Daniel Dubois. Now, I never actually saw anyone in any interview claim that Don Charles had split from Daniel Dubois, so he was denying an allegation that nobody had actually made as far as I'm aware, which is a bit strange. The allegations that were made by Spencer Fearon were that Stan Dubois, Daniel's dad, wanted to sack Don Charles after the Usyk fight, but was talked out of it by Spencer Fearon. That's allegation number one. Allegation number two, also by Spencer Fearon, was that Stan Dubois was involved in black magic. Now, subsequently, a couple of the videos where Spencer Fearon made these allegations were taken down. Now, I anticipated that this might happen, so I made sure to download those videos right after I watched them. Now, a lot of people were assuming that maybe Spencer Fearon had a change of heart, wanted to retract his statements, and therefore he contacted the various channels he'd been on and requested that they take down the videos. Now, look, I'm no lawyer, but I understand a little bit about how things go regarding defamation. Sometimes it will be the accused who contacts these channels and demands the videos be taken down. Sometimes it's the accuser, and sometimes the channels will take the videos down of their own accord as a preemptive measure. They don't want to be seen to be co-signing the accusations that were made on their platform. Anyway, turns out, according to Johnny Nelson, who says he spoke to Spencer Fearon, and also Spencer Fearon, who's done another interview since, turns out that Spencer Fearon was sent a legal letter by Stan Dubois, a cease and desist. But in this video, this latest interview that he's done with Dean White, Spencer Fearon is not backing down. He's standing firm. He's adamant that what he was saying was true, according to what Johnny Nelson says, and he certainly came across that way in this latest interview. Johnny Nelson said that Spencer Fearon claims to have evidence to prove everything he said about Stan Dubois, and he's willing to go to court with it. We shall see. I've got no knowledge, of course, of any of this. I've got no idea whether the allegations that Spencer Fearon made against Stan Dubois are true or not. But regarding cease and desist letters, what a lot of people need to understand is that when somebody sends a cease and desist letter, they're not necessarily serious about taking legal action against you. In some cases they are, in other cases it's just a bluff. So for example, and this is not in the world of boxing, right? But there was a video years ago of a member of the, let's just say rainbow community, and they claim to have had an encounter with LL Cool J years ago. And LL Cool J's legal team sent this individual a bunch of cease and desist letters. And this member of the rainbow community said, I'm not going to cease and I'm not going to desist. Let's go to court because I can prove what I'm saying. And according to this individual, the letters eventually stopped and there was no lawsuit. The video where they made the claim is still up on YouTube, something like a decade later. So like I say, sometimes cease and desist letters are just a bluff. I've got no idea whether that's the case here. Again, we shall see. What I will say though, is that I do not believe Don Charles when he says there's no tension, there's no rift in the Dubois camp. I don't believe it personally. I'm not an insider. I'm just an outsider looking in, making deductions. I said after the Miller fight that Dubois didn't appear to be listening to Don Charles. And funny enough, I thought that Dubois' dad was actually giving Daniel better advice than Don Charles in that fight. So I think it's a good thing he listened to his dad in that instance. Nevertheless, it seemed chaotic and Dubois spoke to Don Charles in the corner during that fight in a way which to me seemed disrespectful. It was a similar situation in the Hrgovic fight where Daniel seemed to be listening more to his dad than his trainer Don Charles. How could any trainer be happy with that situation? Don Charles has shown a willingness to put up with a lot of disrespect in the past from Derek Chisora. He claimed he would never work with Chisora again after he'd sacked him, then brought him back and sacked him and brought him back a number of times. But after saying that, he did work with Derek Chisora again, which is why I say Don Charles has always been desperate for glory, because most other trainers, or at least a lot of other trainers, prominent trainers, they never tolerate that kind of thing. Don Charles does tolerate it. And if you wanted any more proof of what I'm saying, well, how about this right here? An interview on the Seconds Out YouTube channel that Don Charles did recently in the run-up to this AJ Dubois fight, where he's admitting that he was not happy with the way things were in the corner in the Hrgovic fight. And of course, it was the same in the Miller fight. How could he be happy? He's having having his authority as head coach undermined by his own fighter and the fighter's dad. So he admitted in this interview that he weren't happy with it. It was too chaotic. He says they've had meetings and whatever to ensure that there won't be a repeat of what's happened in the corner in the last couple fights. I guess we'll find out later on today, right? If Don Charles actually turns up. Because he revealed that the reason for his absence on fight week was a cold. And he did sound like he had a cold on the phone. I mean, if I was Don Charles' boss and he called in sick sounding like that, I'd believe him. So either he's a really good actor or he's actually got a cold. I suspect the latter, in which case, yes, it's sensible to stay away from his fighter on fight week. So will Don Charles actually be in the corner, or will his cold simply be too bad? Will we see Stan Dubois, Daniel's dad, in the corner instead because he's now got his seconds license? He's allowed to be in the corner now, officially. And he's the only one who seems to be able to get through to Daniel Dubois anyway. I mean, during the Miller fight, when things were getting tough for Daniel Dubois early, Frank Warren grabbed his dad, Stan, at ringside and sent him over to the corner, which would suggest that Frank Warren himself doesn't think that Daniel actually listens to Don Charles. Or else why send his dad over? So it is what it is. We'll see if it affects Daniel Dubois tonight, positively or negatively, because who knows, maybe he's better off with his dad in his corner, as in him being the head coach. And as for the situation with Spencer Fearon and the accusations, you know, in the previous video, I was putting up those gifs of Baron Samedi. When I was watching the video back, I was like, I'm surprised nobody accused me of being Baron Samedi. Because I swear my laugh fitted perfectly with the gif. I didn't even intend that. In fact, one of my old school subscribers said back in the day that I've got a laugh like Sagat from Street Fighter 2. Anyway, peeps, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Very important. Like the video. Really helps out the channel. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast, where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.